First, overlock the sleeve hems for a clean edge. Next, fold them at the notches to the fabric's wrong side and press flat with an iron. Fold the bottom open again. Bring the sides of the seams together with the right sides of the fabric facing inward. Pin in place. Sew along this seam with a 1 cm seam allowance, then overlock to encase the raw edge. Refold the hem into place. Detach your sewing machine's free arm and slip the sleeve over it. Sew around, following the previous overlock line, but leave a 1 cm gap unstitched. Stitch a second line around the sleeve, positioned 1.5 cm from the first. This time, sew it all the way around. Measure the elastic by wrapping it around your wrist and adding 7 cm. For short sleeves, follow a similar measurement process, but focus on the circumference of your arm just above the elbow. Attach a safety pin and thread it through the sleeve. Knot the ends and close the gap in the sleeve with a stitch. Place ruffle stitches in between the ruffle notches of the sleeve. You make a ruffle stitch by putting the stitch length to the biggest size. First, stitch a ruffle seam precisely 5 mm from the edge of the sleeve. Remember not to backstitch at either the beginning or the end of this seam. Keep the thread tails long at both ends for easy adjustment later. Then, carefully add another seam, this time positioning it 8 mm from the edge, close to the first stitch. Your stitches have 2 top threads and 2 bottom threads. Hold the top threads and gently pull to create even ruffles. Do the same on the other side until the ruffles are evenly divided. Lay the top with its inside facing up. Then, flip the sleeve so the outside is showing. Insert the sleeve into the armhole, making sure the low notch is positioned at the front of the top. If the notch is not in the correct position, set aside the current sleeve and repeat the process with the other sleeve. Pin the sleeve in place, starting at the side seam of the shirt that should align with side seam of the sleeve. Work your way up to the start of the ruffle stitch on both sides. Now, double-check that the armhole's circumference aligns with the ruffled edge of the sleeve. If the sleeve appears longer, create more ruffles. Conversely, if the sleeve is shorter, gently pull the ruffles to reduce them. Ensure that the amount of ruffles is the same on both sides of the shoulder seam. Pin it together. For the ruffled sections, it's helpful to insert the pins horizontally. This way, you can sew over them without having to remove them, which helps in keeping the ruffles in place. Stitch along the pin line with a 1 cm seam allowance to secure the sleeve to the armhole. As you reach the ruffled sections, ensure your stitch line is just inside the ruffle stitches to keep them concealed. Use an overlock stitch to neatly finish the raw edges, providing a professional look and preventing fraying. Follow the same steps for attaching the other sleeve.